Rodrigo. We're talking all about it. Bop or flop. We're getting into it. Radio, podcast host, Cian Sullivan extraordinaire. How are you? You're very welcome.
Good. I'm ready. I've been swatting up on Livy. I've been watching the interviews. I've been listening it all. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's get into it then. What way did you encounter her? I suppose the first encounter being maybe driver's license probably, and then the album. What do you think of the album? Because obviously you're
Sour.
a big pop. Sour, the first album. Because obviously you're a big pop head, same as myself.
Yeah.
I'd be curious of your initial reactions to that, and were you as enamoured as the general public seemed to be, and I suppose even like the wider pop fan? It seemed like it was something really exciting was happening, and generally there was a positive groundswell with her, and people thought the album was good and thought she was good. Did you feel the same?
I definitely wasn't as enamored with her as everybody else. So like she broke through. It did, like at the start I was like, I remember seeing her in the midweeks #1 UK charts being like, huh? Who's this? And then learning about her, there was the whole Joshua Bassett thing. I think I remember listening to a whole episode of Bandwagons on it.
Yeah.
Broken it down.
In which we said, iconically, Sabrina Carpenter would be the one that would win out. We thought her comeback song was better. And who was talking about Skin by Sabrina Carpenter? Fuck all people.
That's for flop culture.
That's flop culture. Just that moment. Just that moment. Well, I'll get briefed, come on.
So yeah, I don't know, like I'm still kind of, I think I like driver's license. No, I do, but it took me a while to get there. I kind of was more interested in the discourse around driver's license than I was in the song itself.
Same.
And then kind of Deja Vu came out and I was like, okay. Good For You then really hammered it home for me. I was really into that. I listened to Sour. I liked it. I liked some of the songs. I think it grew on me over time. Especially Traitor really grew on me.
Traitor's very good.
Deja Vu I really liked. Brutal. But there's a good half of the album I haven't gone back to. So I wasn't in agreement with like the massive critical acclaim that she got for it, but I also did think the constant comparisons were a bit unfair.
Okay, constant comparisons to...
Well, I think I don't want to get you in trouble with the Swifties, but the gall of Taylor Swift...
We're behind a paywall, it's fine. And we have to talk about the Swifties of it all, and Taylor Swift of it all. So
the gall of Taylor Swift to come after her for Cruel Summer. Like, are you the first person to scream to shout in a bridge?
Yeah. So what you're referencing there is that Deja Vu, she sings... she doesn't sing. She shouts at the bridge. Everything is all reused. I'm not going to do it, but you know what it sounds like if you've heard it. Taylor Swift essentially came after her for writing credits, and Jack Antonoff for the bridge of Cruel Summer, which again, shouting "I love you" ain't that the worst thing you ever heard. Yeah. The only direct comparison, in my opinion, is that they're shouting and in a bridge. Taylor Swift didn't invent bridges or shouting. I think there could be an argument that she didn't even invent shouting in bridges. There have to be other examples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't think of them, but there must be.
Anytime I think about it, it makes me angry, like, to think about that situation, because again, obviously at that point Olivia is very much a student of the school of Taylor. There were a lot of comparisons even before Taylor came after for writing credits. I think Olivia explicitly said it in one interview that she was inspired by that song.
Yeah.
And then for it to just end that way in this thing of like what could have been, mentor mentee, for it to now actually be this tabloid fodder kind of thing, and also potentially material for Sour, which we'll talk about a bit later on.
Yeah.
In some ways I do think that stands to Olivia, but in other ways it just kind of makes me very sad.
Me too. I feel like I honestly felt, so New Year's Day is a track, there's another Taylor Swift interpolation on Sour.
One step forward and 3 steps back.
Which was cleared prior to the release.
Yeah, it's the piano.
It's New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
It's the Taylor Swift song. So it's like you got your interpolation. She clearly loves you. She looks up to you the way, in the same doe-eyed way you looked up to Shania Twain or Dolly Parton when you were coming up Taylor Swift. And then I genuinely just feel like Taylor, got frightened by how big Olivia was coming. I was like, I want a piece of that. So then obviously the Paramore thing happens, and that felt more fan-driven, like fans making the comparison. And am I right in saying that Olivia's group kind of reached out to Paramore in fear of them?
Yeah, because I think
rather
Hayley
than Paramore
Williams
coming looking for it.
And so the songs we're referring to there are Good For You and Misery Business.
Yeah.
Which again, if any credit was going to be given, that's where it would have been given, in my
Agreed.
opinion, and
Yeah.
not Deja Vu and the shouting, right?
Agreed.
I think
100%.
that's kind of fair, right? Hayley Williams, I'm 95% sure, came out in an interview and was like, it came from her camp. It wasn't like we weren't banging down the door looking for writing credits or money or
Yeah.
anything like that. Whereas, like, again, there's no such word from Taylor's camp or anything like that. Not that she ever would, because she doesn't need to say anything now. She never will, unless it like really actually benefits her or it's something that's really actively against her. But she's just in that superstar status where it's like, I don't have to say anything and life will go on and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But it was a thing of they actively sought that out, like.
And then the fans were again comparing Brutal to Elvis Costello, and everyone's like, Elvis, you gotta take some money, and Elvis is like, no, she can do what she wants. All art is a facsimile of a facsimile. So I just felt like that was the kind of, I don't know, spectre of the album that kind of maybe ruined it a bit, and I felt that was unfair, but I also don't know if, like people were talking about her sweeping the Grammys that year, and I didn't think she deserved it. So.